relationships is the key to success in any business, but in coaching, because it's a human to human business, this is what will matter. So it might take some time, but it will always pay off.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Career Coaching Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Regin, and today's guest is Emmanuelle Langlois, a certified executive coach and co-founder of Leap Leadership, where she helps leaders and teams thrive through relational, reflective, and sustainable leadership development. With over 20 years of experience in senior consulting and leadership training, Emmanuelle brings deep expertise in designing and delivering global programs that unlock authentic impact, deepen self-awareness, and foster real behavioral transformation. As a senior faculty member with major coaching institutions and a facilitator known for her presence and intentionality, Emmanuelle supports clients in navigating complexity with empathy, clarity, and purpose. And it's a pleasure for me to have her on the podcast today. Welcome to the show, Emmanuelle.
Thank you, Regin. What an intro. Lovely to hear that I'm all this. I'm not sure about this, but nice to be here with you.
Well, it's a pleasure for us to have you on, and thank you for coming. One thing that I want to learn from you initially is when it comes to your beginnings as a coach, what's the story there? What inspired you to become a coach and then start your own coaching business, Leap Leadership?
Yeah. So talking about inspiration, I was inspired actually by 2 coaches. Their names are Eric Kona and Dori Benchenour. One is from Israel and Eric is from America. And I saw them basically using the magic of coaching on me without me knowing it. You know, we had informal conversations. I was already in the training industry. I was a trainer in process or in progress of becoming a coach. And I was delivering a course in France for a big company called Capgemini. And they were also delivering another course. And we had lunch together. And these guys just had a way of addressing and interacting with me. So I guess intense, but open as well. And I didn't know what were they doing, but basically they were deeply listening to me. They were really curious about me. There was no judgment. So, you know, I was just into them. I wanted to talk more with them. And through their question, I was learning. I had lots of insights. I was learning about myself. I was learning about them. This got me to say, you know what you're doing to me right now and the way you talk to me, this is how I want to interact with people. And they say, well, if you want to do that, you got to be, you got to train as a coach. And this is what I did. Yeah.
And so it's been quite a while since then. And when we think about your coaching business right now, it's almost 8 to 9 years, almost 9 years with Leap. Throughout these years of doing this, which part of it when going through the coaching journey and doing that coaching magic with your clients, which part of it do you find the most rewarding?
I guess, well, almost everything is rewarding. Obviously, there are things that I don't like all the nitty-gritty things that when you run a business, because I'm running a business, all the admin stuff is not my favorite, but thank God I've got some lovely people working with me, taking care of that. But all the client-facing work, from understanding their concerns to delivering either leadership development works or workshop, but also coaching them one-on-one and see, you know, the impact, the shift that is being created is very rewarding. So I guess I can see that what I'm doing has impact on people's lives in a way that they're more fulfilled, they can make greater or better decisions, and they're really in the process of their lives. So this really fulfills me. But then and also what I love about my job, 2 other things: my own growth as a coach, and especially when you're accredited, you got to learn all the time. But even though it's not intentional, we learn. Every time I meet somebody new, I learn. And I'm very curious about them, but also very curious about, different skills, different areas. So I'm training all the time. My own personal development through the process of becoming a coach and being a coach, it was really, really important for me. And lastly, I think it's an industry where you've got amazing people. Coaches are good people. We're coming from a place of openness, a place of love, a place of curiosity that I'm not saying in other industries you don't have, but it's the essence of coaching. So if you're a coach, you got to be like that. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I feel very grateful to be amongst this kind of community with people who are rather curious than judgmental, and it's not always the case in other industries. So yeah, this is what, and there are lots of other things, but the three main things that really I like about my work: the impact, the growth that we get in this, and the people I meet, I connect, and I build relationship with.
It is actually very interesting how in a good position coaches are. And just like you mentioned, when you think about the whole purpose of a coach is to help someone unlock a better, bigger, smarter part of themselves that they couldn't initially. And when you think about other people that are not coaches that might be around that person, they're not really trying to unlock it. They're not, there's like, it's probably no one else that could have that impact. Or let's say before coaches were a thing or before coaching was a thing, all of these things would have to be learned over time and over a lot of repetition and maybe not even learned at all. If there's like no one that actually can push you to think differently, you might just continue on your path for a long time and just like it's just a pattern that you never break. So
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting what coaches are doing. And because coaches are in this position for that purpose, it's almost like it's not possible to find a coach that doesn't want to help or the coach that doesn't feel any empathy or anything like that. It's just like hard for coaches.
Yeah, it is. It has to be. The whole power of coaching lies in the relationship with your client. And there are some clients who, they're not ready. It's not the right time. It's not, they've got other priorities, or as you say, they don't know what they don't know. So they're not even seeing what's possible. And it is okay. You don't force people for coaching. The good news, to be honest, is that now coaching is something that people have heard about. So there's still some misunderstanding around coaching, where people would think that coaching is mentoring or is consulting, or so we still have to kind of make some distinction and really set the
Mhm.
right expectations. But a lot of people know, especially in the corporate world, that coaching is I guess when you reach a certain level in organization, coaching is really I won't say the last, but the most impactful learning tool or process for you to kind of go higher and kind of become, as you say, the best version of yourself. It's not about knowledge. It's about your internal process. And by understanding who you are, you can then be better in whatever you want to create as a leader. And I'm working in leadership development, and people very, very often comes to coaching because they feel stuck. They feel that they're trying hard and it's not happening. And coaching will allow them to discover or unlock resources and things that is within them, but they didn't have the ability to do it on their own. So it's what we do. We just help people to look at things differently, to reframe, to believe more about themselves, and understanding, again, as always, understanding ourselves helps us to better understand others. And in the sphere of leadership development is what matters. You're not here you're here for your expertise, but this is a done deal. Then after, you're here to inspire others, and you do that only by understanding yourself first in order to understand others and create the best relationship. So your impact is creating value. So it's what we do. Yeah.
Absolutely. And another thing that we found interesting or that I found interesting after a while of like learning about this industry is that even between coaches, not just the relationship with the coach and the client, even between coaches, there's not really that sense of competition. It's more
Mm-hmm.
of like collaboration between coaches. So oftentimes there's clients that just might not be a fit for you, but might be a fit for another coach. And there's always that that you can refer them to someone else, or some other coach could refer someone else to you that they think would be a very good fit. So I really like that there is no, generally in almost every business there's competition, but in coaching is more collaboration. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to the clients that you're working with, how would you describe them? If some of them are listening and then find themselves in this description, is there like an ideal client profile that you typically work with? Do they fit a certain demographic, certain industry? I know they're leaders, but how would you describe it?
The ideal client. The ideal client is the client who just wants to go on the journey with us. And I guess it's a no-brainer for me. I will never work with someone who's not ready to work with me, in a way, who's not wanting to really give it a shot, and to dare exploring. And because it takes courage to go deep inside and kind of challenge your own frame of seeing things, your own beliefs, change, because coaching is not just about minus little changes, it's about transformation. And, the thing that human being loves is comfort. Yeah. So when you're comfortable and you don't want to change, coaching is not for you, and it is okay. So ideal clients are clients that are ready to change and are ready to go outside their comfort zone and are really curious about the journey. Yeah. And are wanting to understand more about themselves, even though they're going to look at things that sometimes it's a bit ugly, and it's okay. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, but so this is the ideal clients. I don't have preferences in terms of sectors or industries. Obviously, it's easier for me and my clients. I have a lot of clients from where I used to work, before. Like, so I was a management consultant. So because clients feels like, oh, she knows what I'm talking about. So they feel there is a bit of trust at the beginning, saying, I know she can help me. But actually, in coaching, the least you know, the better. Yeah. And clients learn that afterwards. So ideal clients, they're not management consultants, actually, because I know too much about them. And sometimes I've got my own opinion, which is not what we want in coaching. Yeah. And also management consultants are very, very smart. I'm not saying other people are not, and they are very much in the head. And coaching and this is I would say, the value add and the benefit of the journey for me, is to align my head with the rest of who I am, my soul, my body, my spirit, everything. When you are too smart, coaching is a bit tricky, because it will challenge what your head is telling you it's right or wrong. Your head is very rational. Coaching is very emotional, is very intuitive. So ideal clients are clients that are willing to let go of the rational and dive deep into the emotional and into who they are as a person, and not only what they do, what their job is, and so on. Yeah. So there is where they're ready to focus on themselves, but as a whole, not
Mm-hmm.
just as a head of marketing or head of risk or head of finance.
You
So
bring
this is what I would say about ideal clients.
bring an interesting point that I haven't had the chance to explore before on the podcast, which is knowing more about some field could actually be to the disadvantage of the coach
Yeah.
because you have certain opinions. Does that mean that you have less curiosity to ask certain questions because you kind of know the area, and by not being able to ask certain questions due to the information that you already have, it could kind of like impact the work as a coach?
So yeah, definitely. It's a thing, like you say, hang on, I'm not going to ask that question because I know the answer. But it's mainly, so definitely, and it's also about the own answers that you have. So you don't self-manage. In coaching, it is not about what you know, what you've been through. It's not about your solution. It's not that. It's about allowing the person in front of you to find their own answers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have an agenda, you have an answer, it's very hard to let go. When you don't know, somebody talks to you about an industry like, I don't know, for me, chemical industry. I've got no idea what they're talking about. So I'm very curious, like, a child. So you kind of deepen the exploration without judgment. Whereas when you know something and you are convinced that there is stuff that are right and there are stuff that are wrong, your questioning is not as powerful, it's not as open. And,
Mm-hmm.
you don't let your client deepen the exploration as they should. But this is pure coaching. Okay. Then, in a mentoring situation, if your client is saying, oh, hang on a minute, I'd like you to give me, your answer, like, I have some expertise in, public speaking, or I have, building trust with people. I know I have, I'm training people in that. So I've got expertise. But if people come to me as a coach, as me as their coach, and they say, got a problem of trust and I want to explore that. And they say, well, and Emmanuelle, I know you do some training on trust. I'd like you to tell me. And I say, okay, I will tell you, but let's coach first. And then at the end of the session, we'll see if you're still interested by my answers. And very often I come to the end and I say, are you still interested in, what I have to say around trust? And they say, no, it's okay. I've got my answers. And sometimes they do. And they say, what do you think? But at least there is no more powerful answer for everyone in this life that the one that you find by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If someone tells you, oh, you should do this, you should do that, sometimes you say it doesn't work actually. But when you find your own answer, you feel much more empowered. You sorted it yourself. And this is what coaching is about.
So right now with your coaching business, when you think about the people that you're working with, is there a certain marketing channel that is working very well for you? Where are people finding you, or where are you finding people marketing wise?
Okay. So it's an interesting question because it depends on where you are in your coaching business. At the beginning or in the middle, or not at the end, but how many years of experience. So if you ask me right now, and I don't want to sense arrogant, but I don't really find my clients. I guess my clients finds me
Mm-hmm.
because it's all a relationship kind of a business. My clients, I get them through referrals. Yeah. So some clients who talk to me, to their network, their friends, and then they come to me. Yeah. So this is definitely, because it's all around trust and, because coaching is so personal and intimate, people wants to make sure that they're not gonna go to someone and they're not really, they want to trust them. Yeah. So referrals. And also, of course, I put myself out there. I think it is important to show some credibility, to also be clear about your value proposition. Coaching is vast. You can coach on many, many different levels and different topics. So what is your USP? What is your opinion? What matters in a certain area? So for me, leadership development and relational leadership, I've got a strong point of view. So I talk about that. I put it out there on LinkedIn, and this will bring curiosity and then, future clients. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But at the beginning of coaching, when you start your coaching career, I started by just coaching everything and anything that was moving,
Mm-hmm.
because coaching is something that needs to be experienced. And when people experience it, they want more. Yeah. It's really hard to sell it, like on paper. So, the way I got my first client is to say, give it a go, try it. So sample sessions. And then people say, oh, I love it. Let's go. And they sign up with you. So, so this is how I do it. But it's a lot about, I guess, being a bit loud about who you are, what kind of coaching you're doing, and give them a taster. And then
Mm-hmm.
they hooked, they hooked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Totally
this
agree
is
with
what I
that.
would
And
say.
so it's mostly referrals, and then some people just like maybe need that push of like testing how it is to work with you. And that's why we try also to do in this podcast, for anyone who's listening, kind of try to have the people who are thinking of getting coached try to get a feel for what it's like to work with Emmanuelle as well, for example. So that's why we kind of like looked into like the coaching part of it at the beginning, and just like your thoughts and the way you express yourself. Oftentimes there might be, let's say, 5 coaches that can coach you. It's just sometimes just the energy might not match, or the way you express yourself might not match. And oftentimes that also makes an impact to the person that you're coaching.
Yeah.
So right now, when thinking of your coaching business, of leadership, for the next, look into the future, for the next 1 to 3 years, is there a specific goal you're working towards? So it's like short to mid term future, business wise, what are you working next?
So we are at Leap Leadership. We are 3 partners, and we've got around 12 associates with us. So we have got a growth strategy. We are expanding right now. Despite, let's be honest, right now, so in the UK, in Europe, the market is a bit fragile, and overall there is still high demand. It's just kind of a wait and see, with everything that's happening. But overall, the coaching world, the coaching business is expanding. So we want to take advantage of that, and and also because we want to make the world more conscious, and this is our mission at Leap Leadership. Through coaching, through leadership development, and all the workshop we do with our clients is what we do, and we create ripple effect with their family, community, blah, blah, blah. So growth. And also because I've got a certain amount of hours I can work, I can coach, but I want to expand and grow to bring on the journey more associates and more people. So this is one thing. And because the world is a better place with more people who's been coached and who have developed more self-awareness, are more conscious. So, I want to bring that into this world. But the second thing, everybody's talking about that, AI. Yeah. Right now, we have lots of coaches that are competing with each other. And now we're competing with chatbot, right? There are some machines that are coaching people, which it works. They have great, powerful questions. They articulate what's going on really well. People love it. You can be coached by ChatGPT. The problem with that, and this is where we have a unique opportunity as coaches and also as leadership development, I would say, company, is to demonstrate that ChatGPT coaching is good, but it's not real. Why is it not real? Is because a machine will always do the prompt that will get you to continue talking with them, because it's what they want, more and more information.
Mm-hmm.
A human being, while they're coaching, will use intuition. Chatbot don't have intuition. Okay, so this is human skill, and a human being, you will never know what's next, what's coming, and they will create friction. They will challenge you in a certain way that will make you come up with insight that a bot cannot. And this is where, for me, is the next thing that we are looking into, is to really secure the coaching industry and demonstrate that there is still space for human beings. Mm-hmm. And that we need to, I would say, demonstrate that if we don't do that, people will stay comfortable. People will mm-hmm. stay in their sofa. People will still do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Whereas when we are interacting, and I'm not just talking about coaching, but we are interacting with real human beings, we never know what the other person's going to say. And this is what gets us to be human, to be smarter, to be more creative, to be more courageous, which is not the case with a bot. So this is my next, I would say, journey and mission, is to reinforce and to show how, as human beings, we need to become better at being human beings, and mm-hmm. using AI for what they bring, which is great. But our humanness, this is where we need to be specialized. This is where, as coaches, we are a bit ahead. And we need to bring that into organization, because a lot of people need to be reskilled. All this intellectual, analytical skills going to be taken by AI. But all the human skills, I believe AI is not going to take it over. Even though they pretend they do, it's not the same. So I'm
I
very passionate about that, but that's why
I totally agree with you. I have 3 points on that actually, on how it's different. So first of all, AI, or let's say ChatGPT, when you're confessing, so when you're sharing something, it will not know anything beyond what you're giving it. So it's just like it's going to work with that information. A coach can also see how you react at certain moments when you are sharing an information, because there's human interaction, body language. The AI is not going to see any of that. It's just going to see what you're typing. So it's limited, but what you're thinking. So there's a limit in AI because there's a limit in yourself as well, in the way you see things. The other thing is that AI, the problem is that it will also somehow make you look good. Kind of like the way it writes its answers, it feels like, oh, that's a smart way of thinking about it. You did great here. That's great. It's always like agreeing with you. It's never really kind of like pushing you to think differently. It's always like going with that. Whatever you're giving it, it's just going with that. So it never thinks like a human. It just thinks like an AI. It's always agreeable.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And yeah, so body language, it's agreeable. And yeah, the other thing is that a human will always kind of like read behind the lines too. Even if it's not about body language, it will read behind the lines of what you're saying, because sometimes what you're saying is not the actual meaning of that sentence.
Hmm.
So AI was not going to read behind that. It's just going to read exactly that. So that is also another thing where I see AI not being able to, unless there's a way that AI can see you through the camera and kind of like be able to understand you as well. But it's not there yet, or probably is never going to be there.
Well, actually, I've got bad news. It is there already because I'm working with Gemini, and they've got already some bot that can analyze, on camera and how you move and how you look and your tone of voice. And they can sense that there is some fear. So they can sense things just because of analyzing what they see and what they hear through the tone of voice. So unfortunately, they can't. But the thing is, they analyze it. So it's not the intuition behind it. And the thing that it will be never replaced, and I think this is where, and it's really massively important. And actually, we see already, unfortunately, the negative consequences of that is when you are interacting with a human being, you are connecting heart to heart, human to human. And we all had that bad experience during COVID of feeling depressed because we lack connection. We lack human connection. And we need that to be human. If not, we don't feel alive. And our relational capabilities are lacking already now, especially young people through, when they talk through social media, they date through dating platform, they don't really go out and talk face
Mhm.
to face, and their ability to talk deeper, to understand, to empathize, to deal with difficult conversation, to deal with conflict is not really here because they didn't have that real human interaction that is more challenging than anything else. So I think, but we like that because we feel seen, we feel heard when we are in interaction with human beings, which is not the case when we're speaking to
To an
a
AI. Yeah.
non-human being, to the AI. So there
Yeah.
is hope. I'm sure there is hope. And it's how to combine. There is an amazing opportunity. I don't think AI is a threat. It's an amazing opportunity to kind of look at our humanity and our humanness and our capacity to be better humans. So I'm in the perfect job right now, and you too.
Thank you. Hopefully, it doesn't really go to the point that it's just doing podcasts. Because that would be funny. I've seen some videos of that, like a podcast done by AI too, so it's kind of funny. But wanted to ask you, when you think about your goals as well of growth, bringing more associates, more leaders, kind of like positioning coaching as an advantage to AI, where do you see the challenge in doing all of that? Is there a challenge? It doesn't even have to be a long-term challenge. What is a challenge that you're trying to solve for next right now with the coaching business to get there one step closer?
I guess the challenge is very rational. Coaching is seen as for corporate, is part of their learning and development cost.
Mm-hmm.
And the immediate challenge, which is less and less, but still, especially when the economy is kind of not going well, one of the first line that goes away is learning and development. because they see it as, direct impact on the bottom line. So the challenge today is to really kind of change the mindset around coaching is an investment, and coaching is a necessary investment that you have to do at a certain level and not just coaching, like leadership development or, learning, so your people stay engaged. Because the business case for coaching is not obvious. And a lot of people, well, it's obvious to cut coaching costs. It's not obvious to see the value of coaching. Yeah, it's kind of through different things. But today, corporations have losing so much value and performance because of lack of engagement, lack of team performance, lack of emotional intelligence of their leaders. Yeah. And coaching, amongst other things, is one way to allow that. Keeping your talent is, when people are being coached, they see it as a gift from their company, and they feel recognized, and they stay longer. So all this, for me, the challenge is to really stop those stupid conversation on the price of my coaching service versus the value of my coaching service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it's happening, but it needs to shift faster, because there is a amazingly high cost for corporation not to kind of continue invest in that, because turnover of staff, burnout rate, all these kind of things that happens when you don't allow people to, while you ask them to work, and you don't allow them to be themselves. And coaching allow them to work, but in a way that works for them and that don't take them to burnout, and feel that they're recognized, and then they're motivated, they're engaged, and they work even better. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Plus, when you think about it, like the amount of these mid-sized companies, the amount of budget that they have, coaching isn't really the one that is actually putting them in a bad position. It's not the main cost that they have. So yeah, cutting down on that isn't really even making a big difference for their revenue. So yeah, wanted to ask you, what advice would you give to other coaches, just like yourself, who are looking to scale their impact?
Well, first of all, before wanting to scale your impact, own your impact. I've seen a lot of coaches, and I was amongst them at the beginning, to kind of play small, play big. We're all unique. Yeah. And by owning our unique talents is what we offer to our coaching clients. So it's really be clear and bold about what you bring as a coach. Yeah. Because we all have our specialty, and speak it out loud. There are lots of, it's important to be I think it's important to be out there on social media, to go on podcasts and talk about it. Yeah. So own your greatness and your own impact. The second, I guess, is to be okay with the no's that you're going to get. It's not failing. But so dare going out there, dare offering your coaching services and get a lot of no's, because the no's, it's not about you. It's about them. It's not the right time. They don't have the money, and it's okay. But no's is just data. As you'll get yeses if you keep, so I think it's really important to dare asking and to dare for asking for some yeses. And if you got no's, it's okay.
Yeah.
And the third one, I think, like a lot of thing, and I can say that because, I'm 54, and relationships is the key to success in any business, but in coaching, because it's a human to human business, this is what will matter. So it might take some time, but it will always pay off. So it's really to build the intimacy with everyone, to be curious about people, and they'll come back to you. If it's not this year, it will be next year. But it's really, really important to really work your network, but in a genuine way, to be curious about people and to really want to build some genuine relationship with them. I had a great example today on LinkedIn. I'm not going to name her, but a client of mine that I've met I think it's 20 years ago. She was a young consultant and I trained her. And now she's top HR in a big corporate. And she LinkedIn me. And the last time I spoke with her was 6 months ago saying, hey, by the way, this is what we're doing. Maybe you would be interested. She didn't reply to me and so on. And today I received a LinkedIn and she say, hey, Emmanuelle, I've got something in September. I need you. You're my favorite, choice. Come back to me. We're going to do a 1-day workshop with a board. And so it always pays off, but we gotta be patient. Gotta be
Thank
patient.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you for coming today. It's been lovely to have you on the show. For anyone who wants to connect with you or find you, they can go into LinkedIn and look up Emmanuelle Langlois or Langlois in English, because I was reading the French version. And they'll be able to find you. Is there also a website they can go to?
Yeah, they can go to leap.com, so lea-p.com. So there is a website, and yeah, reach out. Always happy to have conversation, always happy to build new relationships with people. And thank you for welcoming me and having me on your show. And I think what you're doing is it's great. We need, as I say, the more coaches in the world, the better the world will be. Keep going and spread the magic, Regin.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Emmanuelle.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.